everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. I recorded this video earlier today with hopes of having it up this afternoon, but that didn't happen because evidently my camera, my computer, something shut down 6 minutes into the video, and I did not know it until I went to put this in my editing program, and then I only had 6 minutes of filming. So, to say the least, I have to redo this card. I have two other samples that I'm going to show you, but I want to do this one first, and then I'll show you the other two samples. So I'm just going to recreate this, and I have gone ahead, due to having a bit of a sore throat, I have gone ahead and cut my pieces. I have die cut quite a few of my pieces and embossed, but I'll explain what I did as I go along. So the first thing we're going to start out with is the actual card base. It is a standard A2 size card, which means it's 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score it at, I'm going to bring out my trimmer. We're going to score it at 4, and we're going to cut first. The first thing I want to do is I want to cut half of 5.5 is 2 3/4. So I'm going to bring it over to 2 3/4, and I'm going to put my blade over at 4 1/4. So that is where my score line is going to be when I score the rest of it. So I'm just going to slice up, and then I'm going to rotate it just like this, and I'm going to line it up here at 4 1/4. That will line that line right there that I cut into my track. So all I'm going to have to do now is come down to my 2 3/4, which is right there, lining up the side of my trimmer. There's a little indentation there, so you can line it up perfectly. And I'm going to slice up. Now, in a perfect world, this is going to come right out, but we don't always live in a perfect world. So I'm going to have to come down just a hair more. And then that piece just slides out. Hang on to this because we may need to use it. If we don't use it on this card, we'll use it on another. So what I want to do at this point, I want to move that cut blade out of my way, bring my score blade down, and while this is still lined up in the same spot that we cut it, I'm going to score up so that we have that little open door type card, just like that. And as you can see, that's what happened with this one. This is like an open door card, and I decorated it with a embossed mat inside, and I used the die cuts from the Spotlight on Nature set. These are so versatile because they're circles of different designs and different sizes, and you can nest so many of them together to give you a whole different look. So now that we've got that done, I'm going to grab my bone folder, and I want to iron down all of my little creases and just all the little pieces that curls up when you cut your paper. You always get a slight curl on the edges. So I just iron those down, and I burnish the score line that I put in. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I've got some mats cut. And I cut 2 white mats, and these measure 2.5 by 4. The white ones are 2.5 by 4. And then I took 2 from the DSP paper, and this is the new in colors, and this is the Pretty in Pink, and that's what this card base is. It's Pretty in Pink. And this is the new designer paper, and as you can see, it's a gorgeous paper. This is the designs for the Pretty in Pink. You've got a stripe, this beautiful floral, and this little pattern here, and little circles on there. It's just a really cute pack of paper. So each one of the colors comes in those 4 designs, 2 designs, different front and back. But it makes a beautiful statement on a card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mat these together and just make sure that I have my matting nice and even. And I'm going to use just liquid glue to put this together with. And what I'm going to do is just run some glue all over the back of this. And then we're just going to glue this down. This paper really doesn't have a direction, so you can put it down most any way that you see fit. And I do apologize for the raspiness in my voice, but um, I'm dealing with some type of sinus condition, and I've got the doctors are working on it. So hopefully we'll know something earlier this week or next week, I should say. So I am a bit raspy, and I have been for a while, but it does come and go. Um, so just bear with me. My voice doesn't always sound as pleasant as I would like it, and it's just due to congestion. But anyway, I'm going to glue both of these pieces down. You're probably asking, well, why do you want two? Well, that's very simple. I want to mat the front one like so, but when we open this piece up, I want to mat in here as well, so that when you open the card, it looks like you have a nice covering in the back as well. So I'm going to open it up like this so that when I put this down, I can see my borders a little bit better. So I'm going to put glue on the back of this piece. And glue that down like this. Give it a good press. Then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And then glue this down on the inside. Paying attention to your margins. You want to try to get your margins nice and straight and even, just like that. I took the new Eyelet 3D embossing folder and I embossed a piece of basic white cardstock. I thought this would look really pretty with this pattern paper and the softness of the pink. So we're going to glue this down on the inside of our card, and that's going to show through at the top, and I think it's just beautiful like that. So I'm going to put some glue on the back of this. And I don't skimp with my glue anytime I'm gluing down a piece of paper that has been embossed, because I want the glue to get all into those um, little valleys and nooks and what have you. So I don't skimp on my glue. I want to make sure that I have a very good adhesion so this doesn't come up. So I'm going to turn it over and rub the back of it. That just kind of ensures that I'm not pressing out my embossed image. And I love this embossing folder. I think it's so pretty. Then we are going to I cut out of white, and using my Spotlight on Nature, I use these two dies out of the pack. The largest one with the little lines in it like this, and this is the Spotlight on Nature. I'll have all these products listed on my PDF tutorial and which ones I used. So what I did is I cut out of white cardstock the largest die with the lines like that. And then I also cut a white one using this die, and this one has the little flower type thing, and it almost matches the eyelet. So I thought that was really cute the way that kind of matches up. But I cut two. I cut two out of the big one in the pretty in pink and one in basic white. And I did the same thing with the one that looks like the eyelet. I did one in basic white and one in pink. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch them up, and I'm going to put this one on top of this, and this is going to go on your card like this. So it's going to give you, this is going to look like the front of the card. And then this one is going to go on the inside, because this one is going to look really pretty inside the card, and it's going to nestle in behind this one. So you won't see it until you open the card. But we need to do a little bit of stamping. So the first thing I want to do is take that pink one off and the white one, because these are the ones we're going to do our stamping on. And on my pink one, I'm going to use my VersaFine Onyx Black ink. This is a pigment ink. This is not a Stampin' Up! Product. This is actually something that I have been using for years. I love this as a pigment ink. It gives you a nice, rich stamp with the very first time of stamping, and I love that for what I'm doing here. So on my stamp set, Unbound Love, I'm going to use this Happy Birthday. I love the font on that Happy Birthday. So we can never have too many birthday cards. Y'all know that. And then the Spotlight on Nature, I'm going to grab that butterfly because I absolutely love that butterfly. He's just so pretty. And we're not even going to color these. We are going to just pick them up and we are going to stamp them directly down onto our card. Now, the Happy Birthday, I'm going to put it down probably right about there. So let's go ahead and ink that up. And then I'm going to put this down right about here. The good thing with a circle, it doesn't matter because if you get it crooked, you can turn it. So that's the good thing about having a circle. So I'm going to give that a good press, and I'm going to give it just a second or two to let that ink transfer to that paper. And that is so beautiful. I love the richness of this black ink. And I'm going to do the same thing with the butterfly. I'm going to use that same ink because I'm not going to color the butterfly. I'm just going to let him be in black right about here over the Happy Birthday. Yeah, I'm going to let that, isn't that gorgeous? Love the richness. It's just so pretty. All right, so now this piece is ready to glue onto our white piece. And look how vibrant that looks once you put it down on the white. It's just so pretty. So I'm going to use glue, and I'm going to glue this piece to the front of that white circle. This is a very easy card to put together. I could see mass making these because you could do all your die cuts and then you could come back and assemble your card very easily. Okay, so now we have this ready. That's all ready to go on the front of our card, but we need to work on the inside of our card. So on the inside, I'm going to stamp I'm going to use this You Are Beautiful stamp set. I know I'm using 3 different stamp sets, but remember, you don't have to use this unless you just want to purchase this, or maybe you already have this one. Whichever, you can use any sentiment and any design that you want, any designer series paper, any color, and make this card completely yours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right about there. Oh, wrong one. I'll do it on the white. And I'm going to use my Pretty in Pink ink. So I'm going to open up my Pretty in Pink ink pad and set that down right there. And then I want to get the sentiment that says, You Are a Shining Light. Because I'm making this card just like I made the other one. I just want it to be I love the way it turned out, and I wanted to bring this one to y'all so that you could see how pretty it is. So let me grab another stamp block, and this one we're going to need a bigger one. So I'm going to grab this stamp block, which is the E. And that way I can pick up both of these stamps at one time. I can ink them up and stamp them in one shot, which is really nice. So make sure I've got my ink loaded really good. Now I'm going to come down right over top of this and I'm going to hover just for a minute, make sure that it's exactly where I want it, and then stamp it down. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to hold this just for a minute and let that ink transfer into the paper. And then pick it up. Isn't that gorgeous? And that's going to dry lighter because look at the difference. This is one that was stamped earlier. This is the one I just stamped. And you can see how much lighter this one's got. So as that ink dries, it's going to get lighter. So let's close that ink pad. And now we can bring the pink background circle and we can go ahead and adhere the white circle to the pink. Love my liquid glue. It makes everything come together so easy. And I love the wiggle room. If you didn't get it on there just right, you know you've got a little bit of wiggle room where you can move it and gives yourself a second chance to get that like you want it. I'm going to turn it over and give it a good little rub on the back. And now we are ready to decide exactly where we're going to put this. Now, what I like to do to make sure I'm getting it on there exactly where I want it, I'm coming down a little bit because I really want some of that violet embossing paper back there to show. So I'm going to come down to about there, and I'm going to open that up and hold everything together. And I'm just going to take a pencil and I'm going to draw myself a tiny little line, just like that. That's going to be a reference point for me to know that I don't need to pass that line when I put my glue down. So I'm just going to stay under that line, and that way I know that I won't get glue up above it, and I won't have any problems with my card sticking where I don't want it to stick. So now I can lay this down, bring that line down to the card, turn it over, and I still have a little bit of time to wiggle that around and get it just like I want it, but I don't have to worry about the glue oozing out from under here. So that's just a neat little trick. And then for this one, I'm going to lay this one in something like that. Nope, doesn't want to slide on the embossed area. So I'm going to lay it right there. Then I'm going to close this over, and that does cover, so I know that's exactly where I want it. So I'm going to turn my whole card over and open it up, and then I'm going to put glue on this, but I'm going to hold it because I want to make sure my glue goes on. Oop, and I moved it. I tell you what, let's hold it up and put glue on it, and then we'll go back and lay it down and make sure we get it exactly where we want it. I think that looks good. Just like that, and see the whole thing hides behind there. So I'm going to give that a press, make sure everything is glued down really nice. And now we're ready to do some embellishments. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to use this iridescent white ribbon, and I'm going to cut a piece off, not really big, but about like that. And then I just want to tie a square knot. Like so. And you want to pull it so that you have a nice little area there. And we're going to put that bow down right there. And this is like the easiest bow ever. Anybody can make one of these because they're so super simple to make. And I'm going to trim off my fray a little bit here. And I'm going to use a glue dot, put my bow down because that's my favorite way to put a bow on a card. And it just sticks to the back of that, and then you can put the bow right where you want it, and you don't have to worry about it going anywhere. Then I'm going to take some of these little resin dots. These are the 2024 through 2026 resin dots. They're beautiful, and you can see I've used quite a bit of the pink ones already. So I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. I think I'm going to use the spatula this time. So I'm going to turn that around, and then I'm going to be able to, I'm going to take one of these off, and I'm going to use these for the middle of these little fillets. So it looks like a little flower with the center. And I'm going to get a couple of the little ones, and I'm going to put one right here. Let's see if we can get that glue dot to stick. You know what? If you can't get the glue to stick, you know what we can do? We can put just a little dab of glue. And I dropped my little gem. That's okay, we got it. And I'm going to pick that up and then I'm going to set it right into that glue. That will work too. If your glue comes off like it did with me, it's actually stuck on the end of my spatula. See it? Yeah, there it goes. So I'm just going to scrape that off because I don't want to keep that little sticky on the end of that. Now we need one more of the small ones. I think I'm going to use this end. And we're going to put one right here. Now I want to jazz it up with a couple of the Rhinestone Basic Jewels. So, and they're going to show up here on the pink. So I'm going to put one of these right here and one right here. Isn't that pretty? Now, when you get ready to send this card, you have a couple of options for placement of your where you wanted to sign it. You could sign it right here, you could sign it here, or you could always put another panel on the back and write a little note. But I think the card itself is absolutely adorable. And let me show you the other two. The first one I made was this one, and I did this one in the boho blue. And I love the way it turned out. I used um I used this new dotted circle embossing folder, and look how big it is. This is a standard size embossing folder, and this is the new big one. And this is great, like for folios or anything that you want to emboss that is bigger than what. So I think there's definitely a place in that, for that. So that's that one. And then I did one in petal pink and gray, and I love the way it turned out as well. So those are my three cards. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. All of the measurements will be on my PDF tutorial that will be on the blog. And there's a link for all that underneath the video in the description box below. Just click where it says show more and you'll have a drop down and it will give you everything that you need right there. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope this is a card that you would love to make. I absolutely have fallen in love with the pink one. And of course, yes, I have two. So I have two of these beautiful cards that I have ready to send out for birthdays. So thanks again so much for watching. God bless and keep you. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring honor and glory to our Savior Jesus. He is worthy. So until next time, take care, be kind, love one another, and keep on crafting. It's always so fun. Send someone a card today. Love you and talk to you soon. Bye bye.